Hey there, SoilPower family. Let's talk about something that every gardener uses, but few truly understand: mulch. You spread it, you water over it, you watch it slowly fade into the soil, but here's the truth. Most mulch sitting in home gardens is dead. It's not feeding your plants, it's stealing from them. Now, before you go ripping it all out, let me show you a simple hack that turns that lifeless layer into a living, breathing nutrient machine. It's all about one secret balance: the carbon to nitrogen, or CN, ratio. If you get this right, you'll wake up your mulch, supercharge your soil life, and boost plant growth like never before. Let's dig in. Mulch is meant to protect your soil, to hold moisture, prevent weeds, and eventually break down into rich organic matter. But if your mulch just sits there, dry and crumbly, month after month, it's not decomposing, it's locked up. Why? Because the microbes that should be eating it alive are starving. These little soil workers, bacteria, fungi, nematodes, need both carbon and nitrogen to thrive. Most mulches are made from what we call brown materials like wood chips, straw, or dried leaves. These are really high in carbon but, honestly, extremely low in nitrogen, so when you pile them on your garden beds, microbes rush in, but they just can't find enough nitrogen to build proteins and reproduce. And well, they do what microbes do best: they steal it from your soil. That's when you start to see yellowing leaves, stunted growth, and plants that look hungry, even when you've been feeding them. So no, your mulch isn't bad, it's just, well, unbalanced. Every organic material has a carbon to nitrogen ratio. That's a number that tells us how fast it'll break down. Carbon is energy, nitrogen is protein. Microbes need both, and they need them in the right ratio to function. Here's the magic number. The ideal carbon to nitrogen ratio for active decomposition is around 25 to 30 to 1. That means for every 25 to 30 parts carbon, you need about 1 part nitrogen. Now look at this. Wood chips come in at around 400 to 1, straw is about 80 to 1, dry leaves sit at 60 to 1, fresh grass clippings are roughly 15 to 1, and manure is about 20 to 1. See the problem? Your mulch pile, with all those wood chips and dry leaves, could be sitting at a 300 to 1 ratio. Microbes look at that and think, we're starving. So what do? We feed the mulch before it feeds the soil. Here's where the fun begins, and where your mulch comes alive. The trick is simple. Add nitrogen to balance the carbon, that's all. When you sprinkle a nitrogen-rich material over your mulch, you give soil microbes the missing link they need to start decomposing the carbon. They'll multiply fast, heat up the mulch, and turn that dead blanket into a slow-release compost layer. Think of it like a recipe. You're cooking up soil life. Alright, here's how to do it step by step. First, you'll want to identify what kind of mulch you have. Is it mostly wood chips? Maybe it's dry leaves, or even straw. Take a moment to estimate whether it's very brown, meaning high in carbon, or if it's somewhat mixed. Next, you'll need to choose your nitrogen source. Go for something green and full of life, like fresh grass clippings, green leaves, composted manure, or, honestly, even better, an FPJ, that's fermented plant juice, if you're already into natural farming. Now mix or layer it right. For every 10 kilograms of dry mulch, add about 2 kilograms of greens or 1 liter of FPJ mix, and then moisten it with 2 to 3 liters of water. If you're working with a larger bed, let's say 5 square meters, just multiply that out. You'll need 50 kilograms of dry mulch, 10 kilograms of nitrogen-rich material, and 10 to 15 liters of water. That'll bring the carbon to nitrogen ratio down from deadwood to that sweet spot around 30 to 1, where microbial activity really takes off like fireworks. Next up, step 4, water it well. Remember, microbes can't move or eat without moisture. You want to dampen the mulch until it feels, like a wrung-out sponge. And for step 5, let it sit and breathe. Within 7 to 14 days you'll notice heat building up, a deeper, darker color, and maybe even a sweet, earthy smell. That's microbial magic at work, right there. Now, if you've been following SoilPower for a while, you probably know just how powerful FPJ, that's fermented plant juice, can be. It's honestly one of the easiest and most natural ways to add bioavailable nutrients, and it works wonders on mulch. Think of FPJ as microbial fuel. It's absolutely packed with enzymes, minerals, and beneficial bacteria that ignite decomposition and feed your soil life directly. Alright, here's how to make your own FPJ. First, you want to harvest your greens. Pick fast-growing, nutrient-packed plants like comfrey, nettles, or even sweet potato leaves. Next, chop those up and mix them with brown sugar, 1:1 by weight. This step pulls out the plant juices and preserves them through fermentation. Then, just leave the mixture in a shaded, airy place for about 5 to 7 days. You'll start to notice bubbling and a pleasant kind of fruity smell. After that, strain and store your FPJ in a cool, dark place. And remember, always dilute before use. Mix 2 milliliters of FPJ per 1 liter of water, that's a 1 to 500 ratio, before spraying or watering onto your mulch. This step doesn't just speed up breakdown, it actually supercharges the microbial community. You're not just feeding your mulch, you're feeding your soil army. So, here's a little experiment I ran last season, and honestly, it's one you can try too. I harvested 2 different kinds of plants and made 2 FPJs, one from lush, nitrogen-rich comfrey leaves, and another from woody, carbon-heavy banana stems. Then, I applied each to identical garden beds covered with old, dead wood chip mulch. Within 3 weeks, the comfrey FPJ-treated bed turned darker, smelled earthy, and was crawling with worms. The banana FPJ bed? Well, it was still dry on top with slower decomposition. When I planted tomatoes in both the comfrey FPJ side grew faster, greener, and yielded about 30% more fruit. That's the power of the right carbon-to-nitrogen balance. It's not just decomposition, it's activation. You don't need a farm or a compost lab to make this work. You just need to match your ratios to your garden's scale. If you're working with a small 1 square meter bed, mix about 10 kilograms of mulch, 2 kilograms of fresh greens, and 2 to 3 liters of water. For a medium 5 square meter garden, use 50 kilograms of mulch, 10 kilograms of greens, and 10 to 15 liters of water. And if you've got a large 10 square meter plot, go for 100 kilograms of mulch, 20 kilograms of greens, and 20 to 25 liters of water. Don't worry about being exact. Nature is forgiving. What matters is getting the balance close enough to wake up those microbes. You'll know it's working when your mulch darkens, shrinks in volume, and starts to smell like healthy forest soil. Once you've reactivated your mulch, it's easy to keep it alive year-round. Just remember these habits. Keep it moist, not soggy. Microbes need water, but they'll suffocate if the mulch stays waterlogged. Add a handful of compost or garden soil on top every few weeks. This reintroduces fresh microbial inoculants to keep the breakdown going. Don't pile your mulch too thick. 5 to 8 centimeters is perfect. It keeps moisture without blocking air. And every few months, give it another light FPJ mist to keep the biology strong. If your mulch smells bad or goes slimy, it means there's too much nitrogen. Back off and add a dry carbon layer to rebalance it. When you balance mulch with the right carbon-to-nitrogen ratio, something beautiful happens. The mulch stops being just a cover, it actually becomes living compost in place. Microbes start pulling carbon into the soil, earthworms come up to feed, and roots grow deeper and stronger. You're not just protecting the soil anymore, you're building it. This isn't a quick fix, it's a system shift. You'll notice healthier plants, more consistent moisture, fewer weeds, and a soil that stays fertile longer. And the best part? You're doing it naturally. No chemical fertilizers, no expensive compost teas, just biology at work. So the next time you walk through your garden and see that dry, lifeless mulch, just remember, it's not dead, it's really just waiting for the right spark. That spark is nitrogen, that spark is balance, that spark, honestly, is life. Once you learn to control the carbon-to-nitrogen ratio, you unlock one of the most powerful natural gardening tools on Earth. Your mulch becomes a living system, feeding microbes, feeding plants, and yeah, feeding you too. Try this carbon-to-nitrogen ratio hack in your garden this week. Mix in those greens, spray a little fermented plant juice, and just watch your mulch come alive. If you found this helpful, make sure you subscribe to SoilPower on YouTube for more hands-on, soil-loving gardening tips. Drop a comment below about your results, share this article with your gardening friends, and let's keep building living soil together, one handful at a time. Because here on SoilPower, we don't just grow plants, We grow soil. SoilPower 5.